I think we really do a very good job of gathering the national and international news, which it is not quite possible for a local station to do. Your responsibility is to cover your region in the depth that gives your viewers in the Mobile area the complete picture of what happened to the Gulf Coast. Our job is to cover the national and international news. We can gather it faster. We can bring it into a central headquarters quicker. We can edit it and get it out along the pipe on the network faster than a local station could do it if they're trying to do the same thing. And of course, you'd have to depend on some nationalized service anyway in order to do it, because you couldn't afford to do it for a single station.
But you also play an important part in the news management. We see you every day as anchorman, but you're also managing editor. And exactly what do you do in that capacity, and how do you balance those two roles?
Well, the balancing of the roles, I don't think is a really difficult one. The managing editor role is one that I wouldn't want not to play. It's the job of being involved from the 24 hours at night as well as early morning, and deciding what we're going to cover that day, how it should be covered, who should be covering it, and when the story begins coming in, how it should be treated. I read every word of the copy that is carried on the air at night. That is pre-edit. Everything that we use on the air and everything that I put on the air, that I speak, the words I speak, are either written with the writers right there that I am editing their copy, or I write it myself. It's a direct involvement in the production of the broadcast, which I think all anchor people ought to have.
You've seen a lot of changes in local news over the years. Do you think those changes have been for the better or for the worse?
Oh, I think most of them have been for the better, by far. We are a far more professional operation today in broadcasting than we were a few years ago, 10 or 15 years ago. The technical facilities, of course, have improved considerably. The responsibility factor has jumped by a quantum margin in broadcasting generally. I'm a little disappointed in some local station operations that I think are trivial, that do not try to cover the major news of their area, the news that is really important to people, City Hall, county courts, probate courts, PTA, and go for any old jackknife trailer truck or barn burning instead, because some consultant has told them that that's what the people watch. I think that insults the intelligence of the people, and the people really want to go to their news broadcast for that news, which is serious and affects them. And I'm disappointed in that trend. I think there's some people coming into broadcasting who are not trained well enough, perhaps, in journalism. But beyond that, basically, the business certainly has improved over the last few years as opposed to the past.
Now, you have been involved in the managing of the news. Are there times that you miss, like maybe reporting or gathering the news?
Sure. No reporter worth his salt is ever happy where he is. If he's out on a story, he'd rather be back at home editing it and running the show and being sure that everything is covered that he thinks ought to be covered. And when he's back at home trying to run the show, he or she wishes they were out on the scene.
Say you're a CBS correspondent, just getting started and coming up in the ranks. What would you like to cover? What area would interest you the most?
Politics is the most interesting thing to me. Politics and international affairs, international politics, if you will, interest me most. I think that's where the guts of our future is. That's where the decisions have to be made, and that's where I'd like to be.
Mr. Cronkite, thank you very much. We've enjoyed it.
You bet.